I know everybody's ready to get this season kicked off and get this thing moving and grooving because we've been waiting for a little while now for the football season to start, especially college football in the HBCU world. Now, I know we got preseason going on right now. We're watching a lot of the athletes that play for HBCU football programs out there doing their thing, and hopefully a lot of those guys are going to make the team. I'm going to talk about a few of them in the next show that I'm going to give to you guys, as well as I got some other stuff that's coming as well. So y'all make sure y'all tune in and tap in for that as also. But guys, I'm sitting here wrapping my mind around this week 0 MEAC SWAC challenge and which direction I think I'm going to go when it comes down to who I believe is going to win this game. Now, there were some things that kind of caught my eye, and I'm going to talk about them right after this. It's your favorite coach back at it again. 10 toes down, about to tell you how it all went down. This is Tomorrow Sports Network with your host, Coach Walker. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you get all upcoming videos. For all my leaders out there, welcome back. Y'all know the drill. Y'all know the routine. If you haven't done so already, please like, comment, share these videos, and tap in the free and tell them to come on in. It's nothing but positive vibes. We're just having a good time talking about HBCU sports. And don't forget, you can follow us on all social media platforms. The links are listed down below in the description. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump on in this thing. Because I know you're like, Coach, what's your take on this thing? Because you've been giving us some wild stuff lately. We want to know exactly where you're coming from with this thing. Well, I got to be honest with you. You know, they do say honesty is the best policy, right? So we just go ahead and be honest with one another with this thing here and just get straight to the nuts and bolts of all this thing, because honestly, truly, this thing can go either way. And one thing that I said I was going to do this season that I haven't done in seasons past, I'm going to go ahead and make a call and say who I think is going to win this game. But first, let's get down to the nitty-gritty as far as some of the things that we're going to see in this game. And I'm going to start with the most important position out there on the field. When it comes down to quarterback play, North Carolina Central Eagles quarterback Walker Harris is going to be the starting quarterback for the North Carolina Central Eagles in this game this upcoming weekend. This will be his second season running Coach Oliver's offense for the Eagles, starting this upcoming season. But see, there's one thing that a lot of people didn't pay close attention to, and I just caught it during the last pregame conference that they had where Coach Oliver was talking about the athletes that they got coming back to the program. And there's one athlete in particular that I believe is going to help pay dividends when it comes to the quarterback play. Now, before I get to that, let's talk about Southern University side of the ball, where you have McCoy, who's transferred from Jackson State, that's coming over to Southern Jaguar football program. Jalen Woods and Cameron McCoy that's going to be that are the quarterbacks for the program. Now, one thing I will say is this: Jalen Woods played in 7 games last season for the Jaguars, in which he did complete what I believe it was 56.6% of his passes that he threw last season. Now, the Jaguars are definitely stacked at just about every position out there on the field, especially when it comes down to their offensive line as well as their running backs. They're going to go by, according to Coach Graves, they're going to go running back by committee. I will say this, looking at everything that they got set up and the scheme of things, how they're going to, position their offense. If they did go with a 2 quarterback set, they kind of remind me of what Coach Odoms did when he was there, when he had the multiple quarterbacks, one that would come in and pass. You had another one that would come in and pull that ball down and take off and run. Or if they needed for that quarterback to throw a pass just to keep the defense off balance, they probably would do that as well. But I got to be honest with you, looking at the rushing attack, like I said before, run by committee. You got Franklin, Gabriel, Remo, Holly, and Kahi. And I think I might have said that wrong. So forgive me, Princeton, if I did say that incorrectly. But looking at what those athletes are going to be able to do out there on the field, I honestly believe they have enough to keep North Carolina Central off balance. The only thing I have an issue with when it comes to the Southern Jaguars running back room, they don't have that one beef back that if it get tight and they got 4th and 2 or 4th and 1.5 or 4th and a foot, who gonna run that ball to get that first down? Who gonna bust up through that line and get it? Now I understand those running backs for them are 5'9", with roughly they average about 5'9" in height. they're gonna be able to get out there and get lost in the shuffle where they could very well squirt out the pile and end up the sideline scoring a touchdown against North Carolina Central. So one thing for certain is this: they're gonna need to make sure that they're keeping their eyes on the prize when it comes to wrapping up those running backs and making a tackle, especially Max Aaron, who is the linebacker for North Carolina Central. He's going to need to make sure he's on point with his as far as his vision, his eyes, making sure he sees everything that's going on. And those other linebackers, as well as the defensive line, they're going to need to be able to get after it. You know, Johnson and Sims and McCall, they gotta bring that wood, guys. They gotta come with it on that side of the ball, especially from a rush attack. Not only that, but the Southern University defensive backs, they got some big defensive backs on their side of the ball. And just sitting here thinking about it, I say, you know what? I was thinking about Walker Harris dropping back, throwing the ball against Reed, Horatio Johnson, Franks, Traylon James, Elijah West, Page. You got Mike Jones and Campbell. You got all of these guys are going to be back there looking to get after it on that defensive side of the ball, either linebackers or defensive backs. Again, Southern University has some big defensive backs. And Walker Harris is going to need to make sure he's able to allow his receivers to run up underneath them passes or put them passes throw those passes out there in a manner in which their receivers are going to be able to get to those passes without the Southern University defensive backs either smacking those balls down or intercepting passes and giving their offense more opportunities to score points on the board. Now, the one thing that I did say earlier that I did not mention as far as the quarterback room for North Carolina Central, they got Coach Oliver. I didn't know Coach Oliver was on that secret sauce with this thing where he was going to pull a rabbit out of his hat. But I like this hire for this program. What this young man did when he was playing ball, I mean, it spoke volumes to what head coach Trey Oliver was looking to do with that system that they were putting together over there on the offensive side of the ball for them to get out there and be competitive. And I mean, this young man, when he got this thing down, it was almost like him and Coach Trey Oliver and the offensive coordinator, like they was connected together, hip to hip, head to head, like, hey, whatever the other one was thinking, that person was thinking the same thing, and they understood exactly what needed to happen. It was almost like they were speaking to one another without them even saying a word or even making a gesture. So when you see that type of play or see that type of connection between player and coach, that's scary, especially if you got the pieces out there on the field that can give you the things that you need for you to make big plays out there on the field. And seeing that this young man came back to the program, is Richard. I love this hire. I love this hire with him as the quarterback coach, because now that allows Walker Harris to sit down and really grasp the offense and look at things in a manner in which he's able to see the field and get those passes out there to the Eagle receivers. The one concern that I do have with Southern University as far as their quarterbacks is being able to make the get through their progressions outside of seeing the first progression. They don't see it open, pull the ball, take off and run. I want to see if they're given the time back in the pocket for them to read the field as far as what's being given to them. I want to see what type of plays they're going to make from a mental standpoint as far as getting that ball down the field to open receivers. So that's something that I'm really keying in to see what's happening here. The offensive defensive lines, those trenches are definitely going to be won. You already know Kelby Givens is coming in this thing. He's going to be raising some HE double hockey sticks against anybody to decide that they want to line up in front of this man. So trust to believe this thing is going to get real nasty real fast. And I honestly believe that, as I stated before, defensively, I honestly believe that Southern University has enough to get out there and try to neutralize the North Carolina Central offense. The only problem is with all of those guys that's coming back from last season to this season, you got to keep in mind now they allowed, 23, 24 points per game last season. So that's something that, you got to keep in mind as well. Where we see a different scheme as far as them being able to shut teams down and not allow them to get out there and just run up the score on them. That's going to be a main question we're going to need to see answered as far as what they will be able to do this upcoming season. Southern opponents averaged 23.31 points last season against them. in game, last season. And not only that, but per average rush of the ball, you had teams averaging 4 yards per carry, and passing the ball was 6.07 per carry. So like I stated before, you can tell that those defensive backs were able to slow things down as well as those linebackers, and they have the playmakers on their defensive side of the ball to take advantage of this game. So that's going to be key. But one thing for certain is this: North Carolina Central was a little bit more stingy when it came to allowing teams to score points against them. They opponents average 18.63 points per game. So that's going to be interesting to watch. And the offense averaged like 33, 34 points a game. So we're going to see how all of this is going to play out in this game. And like I stated before, I know y'all like, Coach, who you got in this game? Who are you picking in this game? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be totally honest with you. Y'all ready? The winner of this year's 2025 Week 0 MEAC SWAC Challenge is